57% of people feel that trophies should only be given to winners. Are participation trophies damaging the psychology of children, or is teaching them that everyone is a winner the right thing to do? A heated debate persists in the country today. Is it bad to give kids a trophy just for showing up? Upon first thought, I would side with those 57% of people who say yes. Should we really be rewarding kids for doing the bare minimum? I don't think so. But since it's always important to do some deeper thought about these subjects, I've taken the liberty of doing some research, and I'll hit you with some facts before we make a final decision. Reason.com were the guys who ran that poll that determined that 57% of people think participation awards are bad. They did a lot more breaking down of those numbers to figure out that those numbers pretty much run along party lines. I'm not at all surprised by this. Most fiscal conservatives believe that hard work deserves reward, and putting in the bare minimum won't earn you any reward. That's probably why I feel that way too. I'm a huge proponent for merit-based rewards, and I don't really see any logical alternative to that. Why in the world would you expect any sort of reward without putting in equal effort for it? The general argument for giving every child a trophy is this. A participatory trophy is not to make everyone a winner, but to acknowledge that the child put in time and effort forward and to provide a memento of the experience. The anti-participation argument goes something like this. There's a fine line between having healthy self-esteem and being narcissistic. Now that a generation of kids who got participation trophies has grown up, the millennials, we have evidence that participation trophies can actually be damaging to kids in the long run. A study done by the Research Institute of Child Development and Education, with the participation of a bunch of other institutions, concluded that children whose parents overvalued them by constantly rewarding them for nothing were more likely to develop narcissistic traits like superiority and entitlement. Let me be a little more specific about how these parents overvalued their children. Doing things like telling your child they're smart all the time or more special than other kids is overvaluing a child. Researchers even went as far as to make up book titles and characters like The Tale of Benson Bunny and Queen Alberta and asked the parents if the children knew them. Thinking that their children were the best and brightest, the parents, of course, said yes. So we can see from this that entitled or narcissistic children come from poor parenting. They aren't born that way. Eddie Bremelman, one of the co-authors of the study, said, "Narcissistic children feel more entitled than others, and they want to be admired by others. When they feel they don't get the admiration they want, when they're humiliated or rejected, they tend to lash out aggressively." Sound familiar?
Why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down! If that is what you think about being on tenacity, you should step down! It is not about creating an intellectual space! It is not! Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here!
The other big concern with participation trophies is that kids don't learn that their choices have consequences. It's a hard lesson, but it's important for kids to learn that if they don't go to all the games or they don't practice, they don't get a trophy. That kid over there did, and he got a trophy, and he should be congratulated for it. Giving only to kids who put the effort in every day a trophy reinforces that if you want the reward, you have to put in the effort. This whole argument about trophies can be translated to a much larger picture. And it should be because, let's be honest, trophies aren't that important in the long run, and the argument is pretty pointless. The fact is, more and more kids are growing up now believing that they will reap the reward regardless of the effort. And after all, if you're going to get the trophy regardless, why put in the extra effort at all? As humans, we're always looking for the quickest and easiest way to reap the most benefit. It's the logical way to do things. So if we're trained from a young age that you can do practically nothing and still get what you want, that's what we'll do. But is fostering this kind of work ethic in children really the way to go? Millennials who are all grown up have really shaken up the workplace as we know it, and not necessarily in a bad way. After all, generalizing is bad, and there are a lot of hardworking millennials out there who want to earn their paycheck. But many millennials go into the workforce expecting to be offered the CEO position without putting in any work. And then, when they get to work, they expect a flexible schedule and a lot of downtime and perks before they've even earned anything. Because they've been given the reward without any work their whole lives, of course they don't expect to have to put in any work now either. And that can be a very hard pill to swallow. Imagine being a 22-year-old college grad that's always been given everything you wanted and never had to work for anything. Then you're thrust into the real world where, God forbid, your boss expects you to actually earn your paycheck. Oh, the humanity. But that's a lesson a lot of 20-somethings have to learn the hard way these days. And it isn't their fault. They're thrown out into the real world without a full set of tools, so to speak. And that's why so many of them are falling right back into their parents' arms and demanding that someone like Bernie Sanders get elected so that they don't have to work to pay off college and they can get paid a ridiculous amount for doing something a 17-year-old can do, and in many cases should be doing. So I guess the lesson here is, don't worry about the participation trophy. Worry about the much more damaging big picture. Kids need to learn that reward directly corresponds with the amount of effort put in. If we continue to foster this narcissism in children, we will only be repaid with more and more entitled adults. Have an opinion? Leave me a comment below. I'll never delete comments and I'll reply to as many as I can. If you like my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel for easy access to new ones. If you have an idea for a story you think I should do, or you just want to get a hold of me, tweet at me at Little Miss Skeptic, and follow me on Twitter for updates and opinions about news, politics, and general tomfoolery. Thanks for watching.